We've got a dog food by request for you guys. We're doing HEB. Now, before I go shitting all over their food, because that's what's going to happen, I do like HEB. I am a Texan. Born and raised in Texas. Love HEB as a company. Think they do phenomenal things for the community. I hear that they're a great place to work for, so I love HEB. I do think that they can do a better job of sourcing foods that are better for us, and I think that they have almost no business making dog food. And the only reason why I say almost no business is because there is some decent brands in here that are not terrible, so if you're on a budget, it's better than feeding things like Iams or Pedigree. So pretty much what I found was anything that is labeled Texas Pets, I do not like, but this is gonna be our first one, Adult Complete. This is absolutely terrible. First ingredient is corn, not even whole corn, but processed corn. Chicken byproduct meal. At least I know that it's chicken, but byproduct means who the fuck knows. Meat and bone meal. Once again, meat is a more general term than chicken. Meat can be anything. I don't mind bone being in there, but we don't know what kind of bone and where it's come from. Wheat middling is a processed form of wheat. Soybean meal. I don't love soybeans at all, especially when it's meal. Pretty much we're just using low quality rendered. Most kibble is rendered, so I guess maybe that's not a fair thing to toss in here, but low quality meals. Natural flavor, always hate that. Cane molasses, why? Salmon oil, I always put in always put in a red because our salmon oil is always gonna go rancid, but to be honest, if I was to be completely, apples to apples here, all of my chicken fats would also be in red. So anytime you see beef fat, chicken fat preserved with mixed isophenols, the reason why I have it in yellow isn't because I think it's great or somewhat okay, but simply because it's in every single kibble. This is what they spray on top of the kibble to make it taste better. So chicken fat and salmon oil, they're the same thing. They both technically should be red. Also, look at these, the colors at the bottom. Red 40, yellow 5, Jesus freaking Christ. And we have a really high estimated carb content with at least 51% and a very low protein content. Next up is the Heritage Ranch beef and brown rice for adults. We're a tiny bit better, but not by much. At least they have a green ingredient in there. Then of course we see some of these meals. Our carbs are gonna be in the yellow as long as they are whole. So my processed carbs, my rice bran, my dried peas, anything that has more processing is going to be in those reds. Natural flavor will always be in red because who the heck knows what the heck that is. And I don't typically look at anything after salt because anything after salt is less than 2% of the bag. This one I couldn't find a Garrett's analysis for, so we're skipping that one. All right, this is the green free, so it's beef and chickpea instead of rice. Pretty much the same thing, except we're taking all the rice stuff and adding in some chickpeas instead, but we still have a lot of processed pea. I'm gonna guess that there's probably more pea ingredient than actual beef, perhaps. If you ever saw my video about ingredient splitting, that will make a little bit more sense to you. 24% protein, in my opinion, is pretty low. And when we do our calculations, this is estimated to be about 37 to 44% carbs, so more carbs than protein. Let's get back to the Texas Pets. We're not gonna love this one, but this is the beef flavor. Yep, nothing but red stuff. We got a bunch of really gross things, bunch of meals, low quality ingredients, preserved with BHA. Let's talk about that for a second. BHA is found in a lot of skincare stuff and is a possible human carcinogen, and it's an endocrine disruptor, meaning that it interferes with hormone function. Now, does it do the exact same things in dogs? I'm not too sure, but I'm not willing to chance it. Once again, we got the gross colors, protein content 19%, that is jack crap. The AFCO minimum standard is 17%, and in my opinion, that's just enough for your dog to survive, not to thrive, and I know that we all want our dogs to thrive, so 19 is terrible for me. We're looking at an estimated carb content about 56 to 63%. Look at that carb content compared to that protein content. No, thank you. We're back in the Heritage Ranch stuff. This is the Terrain, subline, and it's high protein diet for adults. A lot of shitty ingredients once again, but at least we see a couple of different green ingredients. Here we have a whitefish and a trout. Because they have more animal protein, I'm guessing that's why our protein content is a little bit higher at 34%, which is way better. And we still have a high carb content with 33 to 40, but at least they're kind of 1-to-1 ratio there. They have a limited ingredient diet, so let's go ahead and take a look at that one. We do have one green up at the top with the lamb. Everything else is red because it's processed and not a good ingredient. Let's take a look at another Terrain high protein diet. This one's the chicken. All right, I know for sure this one got cut off at the top because it's chicken, turkey, and duck. We're both all three green ingredients, so I think my top line of this got cut off. But once again, a lot of red proteins. Protein content's going to look a little bit better because at least we have 3 animal sources here, but still high carb content. But at least once again, 1-to-1 ratio between protein and carbs there. And this is the last one, another Texas Pet brisket flavor. I think this should be illegal. I think this should really just be illegal. You got a protein content of 21%. It's a little bit higher than the lowest one that we saw, but your carb content is 54 to 61%, and that's a lot compared to that 21% protein. I think it's really hard to give this one a grade because we saw some recipes that were decent and then some recipes that were just shit. I think overall I would give this company a C-. I think every single one. I think that Texas Pets definitely should always get an F. The terrain high protein ones probably sitting at a C+ or maybe even a B-. The Heritage Ranch other ones, those I'd probably give a C- too. So if you are shopping at H-E-B for your food, make sure that you're picking up that terrain high protein diet.